Hi guys, it's Kiarko here, back with another speed build, and today we're building Santa's workshop. So I actually did it. I built it. I mentioned in my last video that I was thinking about building this, but I wasn't too sure just because it was kind of an intimidating build to, do. I've never done a build like this before. It was kind of, because it's a little bit of like a fantasy build, I would say, because obviously Santa's workshop is not like a real place with Santa and elves and stuff. So it's kind of a fantasy build, I would say. But I tried my best, and I think it looks pretty cool in the end. And obviously this is like my rendition of it. There's no like one way to, think of Santa's workshop. So this is my version, and please let me know what you guys think. And let me know if I missed anything or if anything, stands out to you or anything like that. Just let me know. Anyways, yeah, it is Christmas Eve day right now. Christmas Eve day. I don't know how to say that. And I actually am recording this on Christmas Eve day. So this is Christmas Kiarko speaking to you. I don't know what the difference between like regular Kiarko and Christmas Kiarko is. But you figure it out. Maybe I'm more like festive or something. I don't know. Ho ho ho. I don't know. Anyways, so we are doing the Santa's workshop build. You guys, I'm just like, my head is a little bit all over the place right now because I'm trying to get like my Christmas Eve day plans going, because today I was planning on making a lasagna for the first time, which I've never done before, and I'm gonna be baking, and I'm still gonna do those things. I'm just like starting a little bit later in the day than I thought I would, mainly because I slept in just a little bit longer than I should have. I don't know. I definitely went to bed a little bit too late last night, so when I woke up, I did wake up early because I was like, I'm gonna go do the stuff I want to do and start this like 4-hour lasagna that I gotta do. And then I just kind of got really, really sleepy and just ended up taking a very, very long nap, which I just woke up from. So I'm a little bit groggy from that. And I'm a little bit hungry because I was supposed to have my lasagna by now, but I delayed it. So the lasagna will be made. It's just gonna be made later in the day. Okay, let's talk about the build. So Santa's workshop. Basically, the concept for this is, it's the place where Santa, this isn't like Santa's house because I assume that would be like somewhere different, so you're not going to see like Santa's like living quarters or anything like that. This is more like a factory, I would say. This is basically where the elves come work. They build the toys. This is where Santa preps his sleigh and all that fun stuff. It's also where Santa has like his office, and there's like elf stuff, like there's elf sleeping quarters, and there's an elf like bakery, like food place. So that's basically what I was going for here. When I was like originally starting this build, I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it like a fantasy build where this is like where Santa's elves actually work, or if I was gonna make it like a tourist attraction where it's like a shop where people come and like bring their kids and you can like do activities and stuff. Theoretically, like this could still actually work in that way where like you could like theoretically bring Sims here with your kids and it could be like a tourist thing, but it still is a little bit fantastical. I mean, this house looks like it's made of like gingerbread and sweets and stuff, so I don't know, it is kind of more of a fantasy build, I would say. Anyway, so basically this is a very, very Christmassy build, as you can tell, just by the concept alone, but I was basically trying to do what I did in my last video, which is bring in a lot of the red and the green and Christmas stuff, but also kind of maintain a certain aesthetic, because I do feel like the Christmas aesthetic can get a little bit too much sometimes. Like I feel like you need to like balance it pretty well in order to find like a nice middle ground between like intense gaudiness and like actual like festive cheer aesthetic, you know what I mean? So that's the balance that I was trying again to like keep very balanced here. But yeah, so this building that I'm working on, this is like the main building. This is where like the actual workshop with the toys and the elves and Santa's office and all that stuff, that's going to be in this main building. And then we're going to build a building on each side, and one of them's going to be like the sleeping quarters, and the other one's going to be like the bakery food place. And then in the center of our little, Christmas village, we have basically this little stage with our big old Christmas tree, because obviously you have to have a Christmas tree in Santa's workshop. But this stage here, this is where Santa's sleigh is going to be set up. There's not going to be reindeers attached attached to it, because I imagine like they wouldn't just like stay attached to it. And also I don't have any reindeer custom content. But basically this is where the sleigh is going to be like sitting, and where they'll like pile in all the gifts and stuff. And then on Christmas Eve, when Santa takes off, it's also going to act like as an actual stage where all the elves will gather to watch, and Santa will give like a speech and stuff, like, oh, you worked so hard this year, let's have another great Christmas this year. And then all the elves will cheer, and then he'll take off the stage with his reindeer, and it'll be like a whole big thing. And that's what I was imagining. So that is the whole story behind this little setup here. Basically, here is our big red sack that Santa has, iconically. And then I'm just trying to put some presents and toys and stuff in there to look like it's like stuffed full of, all the things Santa's gonna give to little kids. Yeah, I mentioned in my last video, I grew up like not really believing in Santa. I mean, we did little fun things where we kind of pretended Santa existed in my family, but I'd never like fully was committed to the idea of Santa Claus. And some of you mentioned your stories too with your families, and that was lovely to hear. And of course, since it is Christmas Eve day, I keep saying, I don't know what to call today, because it's not Christmas Eve yet, since it's still like in the middle of the day. But I still feel like the day is special today. I don't know. Is it like, do you guys count today as Christmas, or is like only tomorrow Christmas? Because I count like both as Christmas, but I'm not quite sure if everyone feels the same way, so let me know. But of course, like I mentioned in my last video, let me know if you guys have any cool, family traditions, any fun things you do, any stories you want to tell, anything at all. I mean, this is such a interesting, joyous, very fun, festive time of year, and I feel like everyone's got some pretty cool stories to talk about. So yeah, anyway, so we're going to go in and put in some more cheerful, festive decorations around this stage. I really went all out with the Christmas stuff. I was trying to really like push it. Christmas was my agenda, and I was very much pushing that agenda here. And obviously you can see we have little benches in front of the stage, so that's where the elves would sit for like the Christmas Eve takeoff and all that stuff. And then these little like gumdrop, dewdrop things are actually lights, so they actually light up at night, which is pretty cool. And here I'm just like changing my color scheme just a little bit, because the tree was like a little weird, so I changed it to the black and white tree, and then we switched out the gumdrops and changed that too. And now we're gonna put in our two side buildings. This build, like it is big, and it took me pretty much 2 days to complete. But I definitely would say it's a little bit more scaled down than I could have made it. I feel like Santa's village could be like really huge if you wanted it to be, because you could technically include, Santa's home. You could include like a reindeer stable, or like, I don't know, all that fun stuff. You could really like expand this, and maybe that's what I'll do next year. I'll do like a super, super big build. This one's just a big build, but I definitely feel like you could have done more. Though I did specifically say this is Santa's workshop, not Santa's village, so I guess I can get away with that, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Anyway, so this is the what's it called? The cabin on the left here is gonna be the bakery, and then the one that I'm copying over right here is the sleeping quarters for the elves. I realized that the way I set this up by having like the elves like sleep where they work, kind of like I feel like it takes away their autonomy just a little bit. They're a little like, they're a little bit like slave elves. I mean, does Santa pay his workers? I don't know. Does he like, is that part of the myth of Santa Claus? I don't know. Like, are elves like born to work for Santa? Because they're called Santa's elves. They don't like have like, it doesn't sound like they have like individuality or autonomy just from the legend alone. So I don't, or maybe they're like indentured servants or something. I don't know. But I made it so that they like sleep here and like live their whole lives around this workshop. So that kind of makes them seem like indentured servants. It's not really like a festive thing to talk about. So let's pretend that that's like not the case, and they totally have freedom and they can totally vote and stuff. And this is a totally democratic society. Sure, that's what's going on. Let's not think too deeply about like elf culture in Santa's workshop, you guys. Anyway, so I'm just gonna outline with more gumdrops, or like, I don't know, are those gumdrops? Is that what people talk about when they think of gumdrops? Because I don't know what a gumdrop is. I just assumed it's like a type of candy, and that looks like a gumdrop, so we're gonna say that's what a gumdrop is. And then also we're going to surround the whole workshop with a little forest of these pine trees, which I'm going to basically call like Christmas tree forest, basically. So you can, I'm going to set up like a little thing here on the left where essentially like an elf, or I guess supposedly a visitor or someone else could come into this, you could come into the forest and chop down a tree, and that could be your Christmas tree, basically. I also really like the idea of these being like magic Christmas trees where they like never like wilt or die. So you can have like this Christmas tree your whole life. And it's like a real living Christmas tree. Or maybe it's like blessed with like the magic of Santa Claus or something, since it comes from like the Santa's workshop. So maybe the tree like makes you get extra special presents or something. I don't know. The trees are definitely magical though. So let me know what you guys think. What is the magic of the trees? And then we have a little bench out here in front of the big Christmas tree. So, I mean, I knew I was thinking of this in terms of like a real life fantasy build, but with that bench, I was kind of thinking you could come and sit down in front of the big Christmas tree, take a photo, for your family or something. So there are, I guess, touristy elements to this. But I was having fun with it. This is a very weird build, you guys. Like, the festive holiday builds are just like strange. They're just naturally very, very strange, because I haven't studied like the history or like the specific reason we do like specific traditions for Christmas. I know a lot of Christmas traditions are rooted in like pagan rituals, because there's my understanding, which might be totally wrong, but my understanding of why Christmas is supposedly a Christian holiday that takes place on the birth of Jesus Christ. There's no actual like historical evidence that Jesus was born on December 24th. The reason I think that this holiday is created, my understanding, which by the way, if you guys have a different understanding, please let me know, is that essentially it was originally like a pagan holiday, and these were pagan traditions with like the tree and lighting the tree and like, all that fun stuff. And because the Christians wanted to like convert the pagans, they decided to like call December 24th Jesus's birthday, and then they made it a whole holiday, so it was easier for like pagans to convert because the traditions were the same. That's my understanding of it. I just dropped an eraser. If you heard a little thump, that was what that was. But yeah, isn't that an interesting story? I like, if I'm right, which I feel like I am, because I think that's true. That it's so cool. It's like it's originally like a different like religion's holiday that the Christian religion like overtook and made it something else. And then as time and history progresses, it's not even really that much of a Christian holiday anymore. I mean, I'm not Christian and I still celebrate it, which is so interesting, and I think that's just so cool, the way that this like specific and now it's like international too. Like a lot of people who aren't even Christians celebrate it around the world. We do all the traditions of it, the gift giving, and it's so interesting that this like particular holiday like speaks to so many people regardless of what it's supposed to like mean or represent, and I think part of it is just the gift giving in general really is popular in like capitalist cultures, right? Because you can buy all your Christmas presents and then gift them, and I think everybody likes getting gifts, so that definitely makes sense why people would enjoy that and spread that. But the whole like Santa Claus thing, I don't know why that like came to be. I heard that had something to do with the Coca-Cola company. Apparently someone told me once that it was because like Coca-Cola like invented Santa Claus, and that's why his suit is like red and white, to like sell Coke bottles at Christmas time or something. I don't know if that's true, but that sounds like an interesting reason for Santa. I mean, there's obviously other like older legends of Saint Nicholas and older ideas about this man who will come and visit you with gifts. I know other cultures have like dark Santas. Like they have versions of Santa where he's like a evil Santa Claus, where if you like really screw up this year as a child, I don't know what the worst you could, if you're a little child and you screw up really, really bad, apparently some cultures have like Santa Claus is almost like a monster who will like come and get you on Christmas Eve. The worst that happens with Western Santa is that he leaves coal for you, and I don't even think that's much of a thing anymore either. So I don't know. I mean, for those of you who grew up with Santa Claus, I'm curious, did your parents like involve like a system of ethics with him? Because what I always heard growing up was if Santa, like, he has his naughty and nice list, right? And that's what's sitting on his desk right here. This is his office, by the way. I should have mentioned that. This is Santa Claus's office I'm working on right now. But on his desk, I put a big long list, and that's his naughty and nice list. Did your parents tell you about this? And if so, did they like use Santa Claus to threaten you? Because I'm so curious. Because I feel like that's what people do, right? Like, oh, like if you're not good this year, like Santa, he's like watching you. Like he has his eyes on you all the time. He's almost kind of like God, isn't he? He's watching you all the time, and he's making a judgment about your ethics. And depending on that judgment is going to depend how your Christmas goes. And I feel like that's so interesting. Like Santa Claus is like this godlike figure that we teach children about so that they feel incentivized to get like good gifts, which I think is so freaking cool. Like it's such an interesting human thing that we do. Or at least, you know, in Western culture with our mythology of Santa Claus. I don't know. I feel like I'm just rambling right now, and maybe I'm making no sense at all, but please let me know what you guys think about this topic. I feel like, honestly, I've been thinking about this more, you guys. I think I'm gonna start live streaming, and I'm not making any promises, and I know this is such a random thing for me to bring up out of the blue all of a sudden, but the reason I'm mentioning this is because I feel like a lot of times when I make my videos and I record my narrations, I feel like this sense of back and forth that I'm desiring, because I'm always asking you guys questions, and I'm always wanting to know about your lives and your stories, and while I love reading your comments and the things you post on Discord, and like that's amazing, I love that interaction as well, I feel like it would be super cool if like I could like live, you know, speak and respond to the things you guys say, because if I'm totally wrong about the origins of Christmas, I probably won't find out until after this video is posted, and I would like to find out while I'm actually like talking or building, because wouldn't that be pretty cool that we can do that. But the question for me is mainly because it's very hard for me to talk while I build, because I don't know if I'm just like really short on attention span, or if, I don't know. It's just hard for me to talk while I build. So I don't know if that's gonna work, and I'm just trying to think of solutions for a way for me to live stream that like works. I don't know. Let me know if you guys have any ideas. Let me know if you know, live streaming is something you guys are interested in. I know several of you have expressed that you are, and thank you so much for wanting to talk to me live. I feel like that's such like a very nice thing for someone to tell me, so thank you guys for saying that, those of you who have. But let me know if it's something you guys are, you know, interested in, or if if you're not, that's fine too. You know, we'll see. I also need to mention to you guys that, I probably should mention this at the beginning of the video, but I'll mention it now and then I'll rehash it at the end of this video for those of you who probably skipped through all my narration. So I am going to be taking the rest of December off, so this is my last video for 2021. Don't be scared, it's literally only a week, and then I will be back in the new year. New Kiarko, new year. I mean, it won't be, I'll be the same, but you know, the idea is that it's a refresh, right? So yeah, that is what's going on. The reason I'm doing that is mainly because I kind of like the idea of just like finishing the year off with this, you know, very big build, this Christmas video, wishing you guys, you know, a nice rest of your year, having a nice New Year's Eve, and then coming back and being like in the new year, hello guys, it's Kiriko 2022 and all that fun stuff. And also I think it'll just give me some time to get ahead of my builds, and it will also give me some time basically to figure out how to upload my builds, which is something that I have been talking about like for a very, very long time now, and have never like fully followed through, and I feel really bad about that, because I know a lot of you guys have been asking about getting my builds and downloading my builds, and I want them to be available to you. I'm just like not super well versed in how to do that yet, so that's something I'm going to be figuring out over this next week while I take my little break. So when I come back, hopefully I will have figured it out by then, and then my builds will start being up for, you know, download. And let me know if you guys have any preferences about that, like how that would work, because again, I'm very new to the whole like uploading my builds thing, so I could use some guidance. Yeah, I mean, I could use guidance like for anything in my life at all. You know, guidance is always welcome, so, you know, but anyways, back to the build, which I haven't been talking about at all, and I feel really bad about it. Okay, so this is the bakery. This kind of like theoretically could also be touristy, you know, if like someone comes and visits Santa's workshop, they could come by the bakery and get like Christmas treats. But what I was thinking is that it would work basically is where the elves come and eat, right? Because in my head, my fantasy of elves is that they only eat, sweet treats, basically. If you guys have seen the movie Elf with Will Ferrell, which if you haven't, I mean, my God, go watch it. It's such a fun Christmas movie. It's probably one of my favorites of all time, and it's a classic, you know. But in that movie, basically the elf, whose name I am totally forgetting right now, he eats or all of them, all the elves in that world only eat like sugary snacks and baked goods and sweets and stuff, which makes sense because they're Santa elves, right? You know, so that bakery is where they get, you know, their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's always like cookies and donuts and like very delicious things. This is making me want to be an elf because I've mentioned this before, you guys. I have such an insane sweet tooth. If I could eat sugar the rest of my life and like get enough nutrients from it and not die, I probably would. But that's not the world I live in, and I'm very sad about that. But it's okay. Everything in moderation. I'm gonna make some cookies today, and that'll be my cookies. Yeah, that'll be my sweet treats for today, and I'm really excited to make them. I'm making what's it called? Brown butter pecan cookies. Don't make fun of the way I say pecan, because I know some people say pecan, and I used to say pecan, and now I'm trying to like say it the more elegant sounding way, which I think is pecan. And it's such a weird word, and I feel like I could also say pecan, but I'm not quite sure what the correct way is. So let's just like not have a conversation about my enunciation of certain words, because it's a word, you know, whatever, leave it. Pecan, that's how I'm gonna say it. So I'm making pecan cookies, and I'm very excited because I've never actually made pecan cookies before. I have a history of like, oh, by the way, I should mention this really quickly. This room right here is basically the storage room of like their best toys ever made. And in the box in the center there, that's like the best toy that they've ever made. And or / maybe it's like the first toy Santa ever made, and that's why it's so special and locked in that little chest there. So that's kind of like a historical record room of like all their like greatest hits of toys and stuff, which I thought would be pretty cool to make. This room right here, this is going to be like the lounge for the elves. So they do get like breaks and downtime, I imagine. They're not just slaving away in the workshop. So they do have like this little area here where they can come and rest by the fire, grab some baked goods from the bakery, come over here and just like chill out. So that's what this room is. And then I forgot to mention, but the room on the right, on the other side, in front of the storage room, is basically the toy testing room where the elves will like test the toys and stuff for like defects or like test new toy designs or anything like that. I'm so sorry that I've been like not talking about this build. I've just been very like distracted and all over the place because it's Christmas Day and I haven't made my cookies yet. Or it's not Christmas Day, I'm sorry, it's Christmas Eve Day. And I really want to I want to start cooking. So in the back of my head, I'm like trying to think about like the things I need to do in order to make this lasagna, which I'm probably going to start doing right after I finish this narration. So as you watch this video, I will be eating or probably making a great lasagna. So wish me luck with my lasagna. Anyway, so the last part of this build is the dorm room, I guess, the place where all the elves sleep. I do imagine that, like, realistically, I mean, I don't know how realistic this build is at all, but realistically, this build would be, or this part of the build would be a lot bigger because you'd have a lot more elves than just, like, the amount of bunk beds I put in here. But just to, like, show like the implication of what I was thinking of, this is just like a sample of the dorm rooms. So maybe like the other elves sleep somewhere else, like there's maybe there's like a lot of these little cabins just spread out around the perimeter or something. Maybe this is like the best cabin, the best sleeping quarters, only like the best of the best elves sleep here. I don't know, I don't really want to like establish like elf social hierarchy. I don't know. But this seems like a very cute little dorm room, with like no privacy at all, and definitely like not like ideal. But you know, I don't know. I don't think elves have a lot of rights in this world. And I'm sorry about that, but that's just the build that we're dealing with. Okay, so this is the build. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed my all over the place, very scattered narration. I mean, come on, you guys try talking for 25 minutes straight. It's hard to keep a straight line of thought, at least for me. I don't know. But yeah, I really like how this turned out. I was so intimidated by this build just because I never did anything like it before. But I feel like it turned out great. I feel like it's definitely super, super Christmassy. And I feel like, I don't know, I'm very happy with it. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know, like I said before, any of your holiday traditions, any fun stories you want to share with me, or, you know, tips and tricks and anything at all for anything. I don't know, for life. Let me know. I love talking to you guys. I think it's just so fun. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas if you're celebrating. Any holiday at all that you're celebrating, I hope is wonderful for you. And yeah, I am signing off now. I will be back on, I can't think of the date, but whatever the first Monday of January is, that's when I will be back. Anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. 2021 has been absolutely wonderful with you guys, and I'm just very, very grateful. So I will see you next time, next year.